What's up, Delle Dolls? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. If this is your first time here, welcome, welcome, welcome. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button down below and knock that bell, sis, so you don't miss any future uploads from me. And if it's not your first time, welcome back, sis. You already know I'm glad to see your face. I am killing these videos tonight, so if I look similar, you already know I'm just knocking them out, knocking them out, knocking them out. I'm trying to plan ahead. But today, because it is June, is Caribbean American Heritage Month, I do want to share some interesting and fun facts about Guyana and myself. Being a first-generation Guyanese American, I am very proud of my heritage. I'm very proud of my parents and happy that my parents taught us about the culture and really integrated us into it. Like I said, I'm first-generation American. My family is still very, very, very tied to not only Guyana, but other parts of the Caribbean. We're spread all throughout. I mean, we're tied so deep to the point where my son Christian is literally the first in our immediate family to be second-generation American. I'm talking out of my nephews, me and my siblings, a lot of my cousins, you know, et cetera, and even my cousins' kids. So my family is not very far removed from the Caribbean. Like, you know, we're still very tied there. So, but like I said, my family is very big, and I've said it in the past on my Instagram. If you're not following me there, link is down below. But, you know, my family is really spread throughout the Caribbean now. I have family in Jamaica. I have actually Jamaican relatives. I have Belizean relatives and relatives in Belize. I have people in Antigua, Trinidad and Tobago, Barbados. Actually, on my dad's side, I think it was his great-grandfather, either his grandfather or his great-grandfather, who was Bayesian. So, you know, we in there, we deep in the Caribbean. But in honor of June being Caribbean American Heritage Month, I said, let me just go ahead and share 10 interesting facts. If I'm looking down, I have my notes. You already know I like to stay on task. So let's go ahead and get into the video. So the first fact, if you didn't know, I'm not judging you if you don't, but if you didn't know, Guyana is in South America. It is bordered by Venezuela to the west, by Suriname to the east, Brazil to the south, and the Atlantic Ocean to the north, but really Trinidad and Tobago. It's about a 45-minute flight between Trinidad and Tobago and Guyana. So we are in South America, but we are considered to be part of the Caribbean. We kind of get the best of both worlds in that way, mainly because our culture is more representative of the other parts of the Caribbean. So we're the only English-speaking country in South America where English is our official language. And that's why we associate more with Caribbean or West Indian culture. You know, that's another fun fact. The Caribbean is also known as the West Indies, particularly the Anglophone or English-speaking Caribbean countries. And the reason for that being is because Christopher Columbus, when he was sailing to, you know, around the world trying to find India, he ended up in the West Indies and he thought it was India. And so it kind of got the name West Indies from that. But there are other reasons why that is too, but that's a whole nother video that I can get into if you guys want me to. Let me know down below if you do want to know kind of more historical Caribbean facts. But that's the first fact. Also, Guyana is the headquarters for CARICOM, which stands for Caribbean Community. And it's really an organization of 15, I think it's 15 or 16 English-speaking Caribbean countries that form a coalition to partner together economically and kind of like, you know, enhance each other in that way and work together. So the headquarters for that organization is in Guyana as well. So that's the first fact. The second fact is Guyana consists of 8 ethnic groups, which include, and this is in order of highest population to lowest: Indian, which means descended from the country India; African, mixed race, which is typically Dougla or Creole. Dougla means Indian and African mix, and Creole is usually white and or European and black mixed. Also indigenous Amerindian, which is just our way of saying Native American. And there are, I think, 8 main tribes in Guyana, which again, I could get into that if you guys want me to in another video. Chinese, Portuguese, European, and Arab. So those are the main ethnic groups in Guyana, and I listed them in order from highest to lowest. So the highest population would be Indian, the lowest would be Arab and European and Portuguese. So the third fact is there are 6 languages spoken in Guyana besides English. So English is the official like government, you know, language, but we also speak Guyanese, Hindustani, Portuguese, Spanish, Chinese, Tamil, and Dutch. But the like everyday language that you hear people speaking is Guyanese Creole. So it's more so a dialect. You know, if you walk up on someone on the street, it's gonna be Creole, broken English type of thing. Kind of like how you would hear Jamaicans speak patois and stuff like that. It's like that, just our version of it. So, and that's just a mixture of like, honestly, you'll have some English words in there, like I said, broken English, some African descent words, words from other parts of our ethnic ancestry, etc., etc. So whenever you hear my mom or anybody else talking, 9 times out of 10 is Creole, unless it's for professional reasons. The fourth fact is the name Guyana derives from Guyana. So Guyana is G-U-Y-A-N-A, Guyana is G-U-I-A-N-A, and it derives from that word which used to represent the region, which is now known as Guyana, which is also, Guyana is also British Guyana. So British Guyana, Suriname, which is Dutch Guyana, and French Guyana, which is French Guyana right now. Also parts of Venezuela and Brazil, I believe. That was the region that used to be known as Guyana. So that's where the name Guyana comes from. But Guyana is also an Amerindian term, which means land of many waters. So that's what the name Guyana means, land of many waters. We have a lot of rivers, a lot of, I guess you could call it like tributaries. I think that's a word. I'm like, is that the word? Whatever. I'm trying to sound all fancy. You know what it is. We got a lot of water in Guyana. So that's where the name comes from. The fifth fact is the national dish of Guyana is pepper pot, which is an Amerindian dish. And it's basically a dish of stewed meat made with, or heavily flavored, I should say, with cinnamon, cashrip, which is a sauce made from cassava roots. And then it has other things in it like hot peppers and stuff like that. It's a dish that honestly, the older it is, the better it tastes. And it's typically served around Christmas. Those of you who have been following me long enough on Instagram, you already know I was talking about it during Christmas. Like, it is not the holidays in a Guyanese household unless you have pepper pot, garlic pork or garlic beef, and homemade flatbread. If you don't have that on Christmas morning, you ain't had Christmas, period. Like, that's a Guyanese house. Like, I remember one year I was supposed to go back to Guyana with my family for the holidays. We were gonna have like a little mini holiday family reunion kind of thing going. And I missed my flight thanks to my brother turning up for his birthday. And I missed the train to take me to New York to catch the flight. And I was so mad. Like, I was with my ex-fiance, and he was looking forward to it because he was like, oh yeah, you know, it's about to be lit. Pepper pot's about to be banging. He wasn't going on the trip, but he was just looking forward to like us bringing some back because, you know, that's what we do, but you didn't hear it here. And so when I didn't make it, and I don't know how to make pepper pot on my own yet, I know I need to learn from my mom, but nevertheless, we were in there eating steamed fish and veggies and just some boring food. And he was like, man, I wish your mom was here. Like, I was so mad. It was not Christmas. Like I said, it's not Christmas in a Guyanese house unless you have that. So that's the fifth fact. The sixth fact is that the population of Guyana is 779,004 people. It is also the largest country in the Caribbean for landmass. Most Caribbean countries are islands or just smaller landmasses. Like Belize is not an island. It is considered part of the Caribbean as well, but it's a smaller country in landmass than Guyana. Guyana is very big in landmass. Most of the landmass is not even populated, or people don't live on it. It's a lot of rainforest, a lot of empty land. Most of the people live on the coast. So when you look at the map of Guyana, and I might try to put a picture here if I can, when you look at the map of Guyana, most of the people live on the coast. So it's like you have Georgetown at the top, closer to the Atlantic Ocean, and you have 3 main regions in that area, which I'll name 2 in a second. But most of the people are around that Georgetown area. Once you start going further south towards Brazil and stuff like that, that's a lot of rainforest. That's where the indigenous people live, and they don't like visitors. Like, honestly, some of those tribes are very, you know, protective of their land. So if they see like an outsider coming in, you probably won't live to tell the tale. Like, I know there's been footage, not much, but there's been footage of like helicopters trying to fly around and get like, you know, capture footage of the tribes and their natural land and villages and stuff. And you can literally see them like shooting bows and arrows at the helicopters. Like, if you come any closer, that's your behind, basically. So you're probably never really gonna see any footage of that, because they just don't like visitors. They know, like, one, they've never had contact with the outside world. They still live as if they were still back in the day, like centuries ago. And they want to keep it that way, you know. So to them, a visitor means you're coming to take our culture, you're coming to steal our land. They're dangerous, you know, they ain't got time for you. So a lot of that is filled with that. There are some tribes that do tours now, because Guyana is really ramping up the tourism, especially since ExxonMobil signed a deal, I think it was in 2015, to start drilling oil, and they already started. So a lot of people are moving, like expats moving to Guyana, and some people are moving back. You know, my family has a lot of land there. We've been trying to do stuff there for years. So we're like, now's the time to really start getting serious about it before it just gets ridiculously overpriced. But that's neither here nor there. That's the population of Guyana. That was a major tangent. So the 7th fact is Guyanese culture typically represents each part of our ethnic ancestry, like I said. So those 8 ethnic groups, you could typically see it throughout our culture, in the food we eat, the music we listen to, holidays we observe. You know, they observe different holidays based on different ethnic groups, you know, mini cultures or subcultures. But sorry, my throat, let me take a sip of water. But one of the main ethnic, one of the main ethnic things that I really love about Guyana is Guyanese kwekwe. So kwekwe is a pre-wedding celebration that happens, and if I can find a clip without like getting copyrighted, I'll try to fit it into this video, you know, and pause it like right around here or something. But Guyanese kwekwe is a pre-wedding celebration. It happens the wedding eve, so the night before the wedding, and it's when the families come together. And it's rooted in our African ancestry, but it's when the families come together and they celebrate the bride and groom. They give them like some really just deep insight into what married life is. And it's a whole thing that goes behind it. So I wish I could like get a piece of my aunt's kwekwe that we had in 1993. I was young, so they sent me to bed. But you know, the VHS was so fun to watch because my mom was like leading it, and a lot of the people from the villages were leading it. And so it's like, you know, the bride's family comes to the fence of the groom's family, if I'm remembering it correctly, and they kind of are like fighting back and forth, and they're singing folk songs while this is going on. And they're kind of like, you know, like tussling back and forth, and it's not real. It's like kind of a play fight, you know, like, oh no, you can't come in the gate, oh, we coming in the gate type thing. And so they're singing the songs, and it's basically like, let us in, you know, we're coming to marry your son off to our daughter, or whatever the case may be. And they're like, no, da da da. And they're doing that, and then finally they come in the gate, and you know, they pour some rum on the ground, and that's the, I think it's called the ganda part of it. That's the beginning part. But it's a lot of food outside. They cook, like, I know for my aunt, they cook up rice, which is another dish of ours. It's like a one-pot dish with rice and a bunch of meat and beans and stuff. They cooked it in a big like pit, like we call it a cannery, but it's like a big iron pot outside in the ground. And they have tons of food, they have drinks, they have obviously the singing and the dancing. They have the palm leaves, and they're singing and dancing, and the bride and groom are in the middle of the circle, and you know, they sing and dance around them and sing the folk songs and stuff. The kids had to go to bed, including me. So I did do a kwekwe for my other aunt, but that was in Jamaica, and we couldn't do it as big because a lot of us weren't there. But nevertheless, you know, that's the time when the bridegroom they have like the buying of the bridegroom. It goes in stages. So it starts with the ganda, and then you have like the, what is it? I think I wrote it down. It's, it's the ganda, and then you have like the, let's see here, the greeting song, ganda greeting song, the general invitation, and the buying of the bridegroom are some of the stages, and then you have like the closing song or departure song or whatever. But it's a lot of fun. It goes all night, and then obviously the bride and groom wake up the next morning and they get married. But you know, it's so fun to see. Like, they'll even put the bride and groom on chairs and like lift them up in the air and sing and dance around them with the folk songs. And like I said, if I could put a clip without copyright, I'll put it in. If not, y'all look it up. It's Kwekwe. It's K-W-E with a space in between, or sometimes it's spelled K-W-E-H space K-W-E-H, Kwekwe. But that's that. Now, the last 3 facts I thought it would be interesting to share specifically about me and my family, so you guys can get a little, you know, deeper look into who Delle Doll is and all that kind of stuff. So I'm gonna go ahead and share that. So fact number 8 is my mom's dad was a politician, and he actually was one of the founding leading members of one of Guyana's most prominent political parties to date, which is the PNC. I forgot what it stands for. I want to say it's the People's National Committee, but do not quote me. I forgot what it stands for. But my grandfather, my mom's dad, was a politician, and he was one of the leading forces behind forming that party, which is still in Guyana today. He was also best friends with one of Guyana's prime ministers, and a prime minister is just like a president. So like Obama type thing, you know, that's what a prime minister is essentially. So my mom's dad was best friends with one of Guyana's prime ministers, Lyndon Forbes Burnham. He was prime minister in the 1980s, I want to say, from 1980 to 85 or something like that. But Burnham and my granddad were best friends, and they both formed the PNC together. And Burnham, the prime minister, was actually my mother's godfather. So she used to go to his house all the time. Like, they were really close. You know, my parents, my mom's family, I mean, in Guyana, the name is still very well known. Her maiden name, Durant, carries weight in Guyana. So it's like straight VIP service whenever we're there, to be honest. Like, and that's why, you know, we have been thinking for years to just like get our stuff together over there, and really just, you know, thinking of different options that we have, because at the end of the day, it's like, that's our heritage, and why not use the memories and, you know, the family legacy in a way that can not only benefit us, but future generations. So that's a fun fact. Also, my mom, I don't know if you would have seen this on my Instagram, but I did post it briefly for Mother's Day. My mom was actually part of the government as well, and she was one of the people that went to investigate and observe the Jonestown massacre with Jim Jones. I think it happened in 1979 or 77, or it was one of them years. But my mom was one of the people to go fly into the interior. We call it the interior. That's that area that I said is like uninhabited, where it's just a lot of rainforest, open land, and native indigenous tribes. So Jonestown was in the midst of all of that uninhabited land. And my mom was one of the government officials to fly down with her dad, I believe, and check out, unfortunately, the aftermath of the massacre. And to this day, when she describes it, it is just really shocking to know that someone could do something so sick and nobody knew. Like, the government didn't know what he was doing, nothing. So, you know, I think there's a whole documentary about it on Netflix. But nonetheless, that's fun fact number 8. Well, not really fun ending on that note, but you know what I mean. So number 9 is my mom is the oldest of 7 biological siblings, but she does have 2 half siblings. So she's the oldest of 9 in total. And my dad is in the middle of 10 children. One of his siblings did pass away at birth. So 9 were surviving, but he's also lost, I think, another 2 siblings or something like that. So nevertheless, he's one of 10. My mom is the oldest of 9. So I have a lot of aunts and uncles. Okay, my family is very big. And like I said, we're spread all throughout the Caribbean now, in North America and England. You know, between England, Canada, various states within the US, and various countries in the Caribbean, like I said, Guyana, obviously, Trinidad, Barbados, Antigua, St. Lucia, Belize, Jamaica. You know, we're all around the place. So that's a fun fact of that. And the last fun fact before I wrap up, because I don't want to talk you guys' head off, is my mom is from Buxton, Guyana, which is a village, but within that village is a section called Friendship Middle Walk. So she's from Friendship Middle Walk area of Buxton, and Buxton is in the region of Demerara Maika, and that's like one of the main regions, like I said, that's by Georgetown, closer to the coast in Guyana. My dad is from New Amsterdam, which is a port town, and that's in the East Berbice Quarantine region of Guyana, and that's close to the Suriname border. So you have like Georgetown here, then you've got like the river, you know, that kind of feeds out of the Atlantic Ocean, and then on this side is like the East Berbice Quarantine area where my dad is from, and that's more like I said, going east towards Suriname and stuff like that. And I want to say it's like more country, but it is way more populated now and more, you know, commercialized and stuff like that. So that is all that I have for you guys. Ultimately, like I said, I'm very proud to be Guyanese American. My family's very big. I just love the culture. I love the history. As I get older, I'm really trying to learn more. You know, next time I go to Guyana, I would like to really do a tour now that we finally have like official tour groups and options and stuff. Because when I was growing up, that was not really there. It wasn't really a tourist country. A lot of people didn't even know about Guyana. But now, like I said, with ExxonMobil being there and a lot of expats and companies going in and just a lot of development and people kind of going back home and stuff, there is a lot coming down the pike, and it is slated to be one of the world's wealthiest countries by the mid-2020s. So, you know, I'm just definitely looking forward to going and really exploring, because as many times as I've been, I still have not seen a lot. There's, you know, Kaito Falls there, which is a waterfall. I think it's the world's largest single drop waterfall, or one of the largest, and it always has like a permanent rainbow over it. Actually, if you watch the movie, I forgot what the movie was called, but it was a Disney movie. I feel like it was called El Dorado or something, but that was actually based loosely on a part of Guyana, around that Kaito Falls area. And El Dorado, I forgot the history of it all. I'll look it up, and maybe if you guys really want to see like a video about Caribbean history, particularly Guyanese history, I can go into that. But yeah, that area was known to have a lot of gold. Guyana has a lot of gold, a lot of natural resources and stuff like that to this day. And so that's why it's drawing a lot of people, particularly companies. But nevertheless, that's why we have El Dorado rum, I think, because of that region. So there's a lot of interesting history. I'm really proud to be Caribbean American. If you also are Caribbean, even if you're not Caribbean American, maybe you're Caribbean Canadian or something, but because June is Caribbean American Heritage Month, we just gonna big up all the Caribbean people. So if you're Caribbean, or you have a friend who's Caribbean or whatever, comment down below and drop your flag, rep your flag, big up yourself, and let's just have a good time. Happy Caribbean American Heritage Month to all my fellow Caribbean American folks. If you're also first generation, I feel you, okay? It's great. There are a lot of pros to it, but there are some cons as well. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know what your most favorite fact was in this, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.